Oh dear, those siblings, the C word and the Brits. Why do you guys always play the role of the habitually sticky-fingered thief who sleeps through the day? The British lot. Don't even get me started there, master. Pilferers from east to west. You folks have a massive museum stuffed wall-to-wall with nothing but stolen goods. They say the Egyptians were smart to build those colossal pyramids. Otherwise, the Brits would have long ago uprooted them and slapped them into a museum exhibit. It got so bad that when your French buddy got robbed at the Louvre recently, many Russian friends messaged President Macron, asking, "Hey, monsieur, did you check the British Museum yet?" And the C word. You'd think the whole country was populated by thieving, corrupt numbskulls. Because that entire giant warehouse of Russian hot hardware left on your soil after the Soviet collapse, you sold it all off. You even sold the unfinished Soviet aircraft carrier to the Chinese. And now it's the Liaoning carrier. For this one incident alone, the Chinese must be eternally grateful to the corrupt, thieving C-word officials. When two Robin Hoods gather, you know what the main topic is, right? Lately, these ghastly buddies hatched a scheme to fleece a Russian MiG-31 jet. A wildly intricate and sneaky plot with a calculated success rate of 99.99%. The operation was, in fact, a glorious success. The Russian MiG-31 made it all the way to C-word territory. But as an extra bonus, they hauled along the sacred Kinzhal'd missile, treating Zelensky to a spectacular fireworks display. So, how did this grand larceny go down? Why did the C-word and the Brits want to fondle the Russian Iron Bird? And how did that calculation spectacularly faceplant? First off, why the MiG-31? To sum up this particular piece of kit, one sentence is all you need. An antique that still knocks the players off their feet. The MiG-31 first flew in September 1975, went into mass production in 1979, and was officially commissioned into the Soviet military in 1982. The Soviets cranked out a total of 519 units, but never exported a single one. Thus, the majority of MiG-31s were upgraded to serve in the Russian Air Force, with only their buddies in Kazakhstan currently flying about 30 units. These guys cherish this old broad like gold, and for good reason. The MiG-31 once set multiple world records as the largest, fastest, and highest flying fighter jet. Developed from the MiG-25 design, the MiG-31 carries the complete essence of Soviet military aviation excellence. It's nicknamed the world's fastest fighter, capable of hitting a maximum velocity of 2.83 times the speed of sound, or about $3,500 kmh, far surpassing many modern fifth-generation planes. For instance, the US F-2 maxes out at 2.25 times the speed of sound. One of the MiG-31's most unique features is its frame, composed of nearly half arc-welded nickel steel, 1/3 light metal alloys, and almost 1/8 titanium. This mix ensures the airframe remains stable and has an incredibly long lifespan. Not only that, but the MiG-31 Zoslin radar was the world's first phased-array radar to be mass-equipped on a fighter. With a scan range of up to 200 kilometers, Zoslin can track 10 targets and simultaneously direct fire to attack 4 of them. A squad of 4 MiG-31s can manage an airspace 800 kilometers wide. Given the Russians' 11 time zones of airspace, of course, they need this kind of heavy hitter. In terms of firepower, the standard MiG-31 generation can haul 9 tons of toys. Mainly medium-tool long-range air-to-air flares to protect Russian airspace in case any allies get bullshy and try a massive intrusion. It's a genuine beast, but the Ivans continue to upgrade this monster into several variants for modern combat needs. The most famous is the MiG-31K model. Do you guys know what the K stands for here? It's K for Kinzhal'd. Ivan's hypersonic refrigerator can carry mushrooms and non-mushroom things. With a range of 2,000 kilometers, the MiG-31K doesn't even need to enter the target's air defense network to ship the refrigerator straight to the C-word crew. Its speed is nearly 10 times the speed of sound, plus its ability to jiggle its flight path means you can only defend yourselves with ... the target itself. Dealing with this thing is truly a lost cause. Given this predicament, His Majesty the King of the Clowns picked up the phone and called his older brother, saying, "Bro, you gotta help me jack one of those Russian MiG-31s. They keep flying around outside our air defenses and launching those fridge washers right into our faces. And I can't stand it," the brother, who fancies himself Robin Hood and can't bear the shame of a failed robbery, nodded and said, "Okay, C-word." And UK intelligence knew the Russians had upgraded at least a dozen MiG-31s to the MiG-31K standard. They were permanently stationed at an airfield near the border with Kazakhstan. How to nick a plane? There's only one way: bribe the pilot. So, last year, a MiG-31 pilot was contacted by a man calling himself Sergei Logovsky, a researcher for the independent investigative organization Bellingcat. A brief explanation about this organization for those of you who are out of the loop: Bellingcat is based in the Netherlands but was founded by a British journalist. These guys absolutely love investigating Russia. For example, the case of the Malaysian MH17 plane crash in the eastern seaward in 2014, or the poisoning of their anti-establishment friend, Alexei Navalny, in 2020. After Russia launched the special military operation, Bellingcat focused on writing about the conflict. Russia has long doubted the organization's independence and credibility, suspecting it receives funding from various Western countries. Russia then declared Bellingcat a national security threat and banned all its activities in Russia. I'll explain why in a later part of the video. Now back to the main story. Initially, this Mr. Logovsky only asked the Russian pilot for technical consultation, but then he shifted gears and tried to entice the pilot to defect with a hefty reward. The pilot told him to get lost, so that's when an Alexander popped up, promising $3 million and a foreign passport, according to the plan on November 4th. The pilot was supposed to poison the commander's oxygen mask, take control of the jet, and fly it to an airbase near the Romanian city of Constanta. However, Russian intelligence FSB caught wind of everything. The Ivans outsmarted them, using the C-word's own MiG-31 plot to ship a refrigerator straight to Zelensky for a proper Christmas. Specifically, on November 9th and 10th, the Russian aerospace forces struck the main electronic intelligence center of the main intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense in the Kiev region and the Starokostianov Air Base, where the F-16 jets were deployed. This raises the question: if the goal was just to recruit, why did the C-word and the Brits need the pilot to fly over Romania? We must consider the current specific context. Recently, His Majesty the King of the Clowns had a chit-chat with the British news agency The Guardian at the Mariinsky Palace in Kiev. The power went dead twice. Zelensky gave a bitter smile and blamed Russia for attacking the C-word's energy infrastructure. According to the King of the Clowns, Russia had no other way to cause tension for the C-word and thus used civilians as a bargaining chip. Civilians are checking out and lack electricity and running water, all thanks to Russia. But honestly, I don't buy the King of the Clowns' performance with the journalist. What kind of power outage still has perfect studio backlighting and spotlights? Then the King of the Clowns gave a speech as smooth as a commercial script. The situation demands that European allies immediately send fighter jets to patrol the C-word. There can be no more delays. The King of the Clowns even claimed the C-word wanted to buy 27 US Patriot air defense systems, but worried the US couldn't produce them fast enough, and the C-word needs them right now. He suggested their European allies lend him their systems first. They can wait for the US to finish production and receive theirs later. That's just brilliant. I trust any European ally with a shred of sense left won't lend the King of the Clowns a Patriot. Firstly, the C-word is broke. Where would they get the money to buy nearly 30 Patriots? They'll probably roll over and demand the allies donate them. Secondly, if they borrow it and break it, who pays? Thirdly, if they walk away with your magic weapon, you'll be left exposed. And what European allies fear most is Russia shipping a refrigerator right into their faces. In short, this is highly likely a staged performance by the King of the Clowns in collaboration with the British newspaper to whine and extort his European buddies. Be highly vigilant of these crooks, because once they go loco, they'll stop at nothing to milk money out of you. The King of the Clowns situation grew more dire when the longest government shutdown in US history caused Congress to delay approving shipments of hot hardware destined for NATO countries, most of which the Allies were diverting to the C-word. Hence, the C-word and their wandering British pals needed a shocking, sensational scandal to quickly restart the flow of hot hardware to the 404 region. Their plot is clear: lure the MiG-31 pilot to the Romanian airbase and falsely accuse Russia of violating a NATO country's airspace. Then, NATO could legitimately shoot down the Russian jet, thereby dragging the Western alliance deeper into the conflict zone. Keep in mind, that NATO allies had previously raised a ruckus over a false accusation of a MiG-31 violating their airspace. In September, the Baltic giant, Estonia, loudly and vehemently declared that a Russian jet had flown for 12 minutes in the airspace near Vainu Island. Shocking, but wait, that island is only the size of 2 football fields located in the middle of the Gulf of Finland. The Estonian shore is 16 nautical miles away. The Finnish shore is 21 nautical miles away. Basically, the two borderlines overlap. Any third country plane flying through there is bound to clip someone's airspace. International law allows transit in narrow zones, so you can't exactly forbid it. And on top of that, the area is crammed with Russian islands, rocks, and banks of veritable sea labyrinth. In the Baltic, there are almost no flight or shipping routes that don't pop over to a neighbor's house for a bit. Remember, the MiG-31K is Russia's fastest fighter jet. Even on a leisurely stroll, it's doing at least $500 kilometer per hour. 12 minutes is 100 kilometers flown. So to claim it was in Estonian airspace for a full 12 minutes? The Russian pilot must have been doing loops for sightseeing, not just flying straight. And not only did they have no shame, they dragged it all the way to the UN to argue about it. The Estonian foreign minister presented a photo of the MiG-31 as an irrefutable, compelling piece of evidence. Too bad the eagle-eyed netizens immediately sniffed it out. That photo was, in fact, an image from a model airplane kit being sold on eBay. You guys are truly a chip off the old block. First, the salt shaker from Powell's kitchen cupboard, then the random brick picked up off the street by the Israeli ambassador, and now this cat-and-mouse game. Humility, truthfulness, and bravery are truly things that NATO allies will never learn. With that rap sheet, it's no wonder the clown posse staged a false flag incident starring an Ivan on the legendary MiG-31. The thieving game is one they're familiar with. In 2022, it was Bellingcat again. A journalist accused by Russia of participating in a failed attempt to recruit a Russian pilot. In 2023, they had better luck, successfully recruiting pilot Maxim Kuzminov, who defected to the C-word in his Mi-8 helicopter. Kuzminov landed in Kiev-controlled territory with the assistance of C-word intelligence, while his 2 unsuspecting comrades kicked the bucket immediately upon landing. But what happened next? The traitor's end was a full dose of 12 lead candies and a smash hand squashed by a car right in Spain, where he was living under a new identity with a C-word passport. Remember, Putin is a former intelligence agent. The great Tsar once said, "I can forgive, but not everything can be forgiven." There's no reason to forgive betrayal. You ungrateful C-word brethren, have you figured out yet why Uncle Bear is using a hand as big as a newspaper to smack you around?